Hello everyone, it is Chris Groves and welcome back. So as promised, I'm going to walk you through setting up a campaign. The first thing you're going to need with Bing, and this is very important, especially in a PPC network, you're going to need tracking of some sort. So depending on what level you're at, I'm going to give you some good tracking options. There's Click Magic, which if you're just starting out or beginning, I do recommend that. It's really easy to set up, great for beginners, and it's very affordable. But as you do advance, you're going to want to eventually get CPV Labs or Volume. Now in this training, I'm going to show you how to set it up in Click Magic. If you're setting anything up, you'll want to refer to tutorials on Volume or CPV Labs. So in this training, I'm going to show you how to set everything up in Click Magic step by step. So if you want to get Click Magic, there's going to be a link below this video you can grab. It should give you access to a discount. And click on Show Monthly Billing Options. If you want to pay annually, you can, but you can basically go here and try it for free. So let's just say you want to do the starter plan, just testing it out. Go ahead and sign up, and it's going to let you try it for 14 days. So kind of get your feet wet, and Click Magic isn't too bad. In the grand scheme of things, but as you do get more advanced to start running, I do recommend moving over to CPV Labs or Volume. So with that being said, I'm going to log in because I actually have a Click Magic account already, and I'm going to promote a survey offer here in Max Bounty. So that's another thing I want to touch on in this subject is CPA networks. You're going to want to apply for CPA networks, and what CPA is, for those that don't know or if you're new, it's cost per action, and there are basically offers out there that are going to pay you for generating leads. They're going to pay you for generating sales, and there's quite a few CPA networks. The ones that I recommend, and they're all free to join, is Max Bounty is really good. So you can just go to maxbounty.com. There's Cash Network, so there's cashnetwork.com. There's Peerfly. There's just a ton. If you just go and Google CPA networks or top CPA networks, you'll find a great list of them. But the ones that I primarily use are Max Bounty, Cash Network are my main two. I also use a few others as well, such as like A4D.com. But I'm going to give you a sample campaign here in Max Bounty. And once again, Jason is going to take you through Cash Network later in this series and set up a full-on funnel and campaign with you guys. So I'm picking this survey offer just for an example. Feel free to pick any offer, but if you want to follow along with me, that's fine. So I'm doing this My Survey US offer, and it pays $2 per lead, and I'm just coming down here to grab my link. So I'll go ahead and go right here to search. All right, get tracking code, and I'll copy that. Oops. And I just want to make sure, of course, that everything works. It's important to test the tracking link. So here's one thing. Here's the landing page. Now this is very important on Bing. I want to touch on this subject, why we're here. Direct linking is okay on Bing. However, I want you to start conditioning yourself to build landing pages, and we're going to walk you through that. Make sure your offers do have the following. This is pretty much required by Bing. You need to have a privacy policy. You need to have some types of terms of service. Opt-in disclaimer if you're collecting personal information such as email leads, etc. Now, in this training course, we're going to give you those templates. So if you go over to the resources tab, we're going to give you templates on these so you can just pretty much copy and paste. But if you look at this offer, you scroll down to the bottom of any page, you'll notice that they have the privacy, they have their terms, they have About Us, which probably has their contact information, but basically they have the main key things. The biggest is privacy policy and the terms of service. So keep that in mind. If you are direct linking on Bing, make sure your offer has those. Another thing is make sure your offer doesn't have any pop-ups. So if this had a bunch of pop-ups coming out at me, Bing doesn't like that either. So that's why I said if you can, build your own landing page. But in this example, we're going to direct link, even though I'm telling you right now that I don't direct link very much at all anymore. I'm building landing pages basically for everything that I do. So eventually you're going to want to get in the habit of building landing pages. We're going to walk you through on how to do that. I use WordPress, and I use a plugin called InstaBuilder. There's a lot of tools out there available to you. They all do a great job. There's InstaBuilder, there's Optimized Press, there's ClickFunnels. There's just a bunch of software, so it's really up to you on what you like. I want you to go out there and pick something that you want to use. But if you want to take my recommendation, I use InstaBuilder. I've used InstaBuilder for a long time, and that's just a WordPress plugin. So without further ado, let's get that set up. So first things first is you grab your tracking link, which we did, search. It's going to do it again. You copy it. We're going to go over to ClickMagick, and we're going to go to links. So after you create your ClickMagick account, you're going to go to links, and you're going to go ahead and create a new link. So click create new link. And we're just going to name this test survey. Okay? Test survey. All right. And then we're going to go ahead and paste in the link there. And we're going to go ahead and another thing I want to show you in ClickMagick, show advanced settings. So if you're using your own funnel, you can actually place a conversion code in there. There's a place for a pixel or a code if you're doing that. We'll talk a little bit more about that when we build out the funnel later in this training. But we're going to keep everything really basic. Just know that there are advanced settings. And we're going to go ahead and click create link. So we just named it test survey. Not a problem. I'm going to go ahead and type in test survey, and I'm going to find my link. So if at any time you lose you lose your link, just hit the little red X. It will take you out to all your links. This is my test survey offer. I'm just going to copy it and make sure it works. Okay, so I'm just about ready to promote my survey, as you can see. Looks good. All right, let's go ahead and set it up step by step. So we're going to go into Bing, and the first thing we're going to do is we're just going to dive right in, click create campaign. We're going to do a search and content campaign. And we're going to name this survey example. I'm just giving you guys an example. So survey example, time zone. Let's go ahead and put that in my time zone. You're going to put it in your time zone, of course, wherever you're located. $5 a day. We'll leave it at $5 a day for now. Let's see. So this offer is US only. I remember that. So that's another thing is when you're picking offers, you got to make sure where they're coming from. Sometimes they only allow Canadian traffic. Sometimes they only allow UK, only US. So in this case, it's only US people in your targeted location. All right. One thing I recommend doing if you're new, and there's nothing wrong with doing this because this is all part of analyzing and your competition, is if you come over here to Bing, we're going to actually type in surveys. And we're going to see what our competitors are doing for their ad titles. And we're doing this to simply get an idea of what they're using to see what's effective. So they have $100 an hour cash paid surveys. That seems to be really popular. We can go to page 2. See, so $100 an hour cash paid surveys. That keeps coming up a lot. 100% free paid surveys make up to $45 a survey in 20 minutes. And we can go over here and we can do something similar. Earn up to $45 an hour surveys. Okay? And this is just our first ad title. Don't worry, we're going to split test ad titles and things like that. Come back over to Bing. Make up to $45 a survey in 20 minutes. I like that, so we can actually copy that. Okay, so if you're not good at copywriting or coming up with your own ad copies, don't worry, you can just copy and paste. Make up to $45 a survey in 20 minutes. Sign up for free here. Okay, all right, and then we're going to go ahead and we're going to grab, once again, make sure you have it, your tracking URL. Now your display URL is going to be different. We're going to paste in the destination URL. And what you want to do with ClickMagick is you want to do a /. I'm going to zoom in so you can see this. We want to track our keyword, so we're going to put in keyword. And if you want to track the ad ID, you can do either a / or you can just do ad ID like this. Okay. Ad ID. Doesn't matter if it's doesn't matter if it's case sensitive or not. And then your display URL should be mysurvey.com because that's what the user is going to see. You could technically make your display URL clkmg.com, but your display URL is what your person's going to see. So let me show you surveys, for example. This is the display URL, surveymonkey.com. When I click on the URL, my destination URL is actually surveymonkey.com /mp /lp /lp-5b. So it's a really long URL. So in this case, we're going to just do mysurvey.com because that's where the user lands. All right, and sometimes if you're on a new Bing account, one thing to keep in mind is sometimes Bing will say that your display and destination URL doesn't match, even though technically that is true because this doesn't match. But you notice as you start creating campaigns, they'll start getting approved. And that's why I say it's important to build landing pages so you have full control over your domain. But this should work because it's always worked for me. Display URL, mysurvey.com, destination URL, and we put in our keyword. And the reason why we do this, the keyword and the ad ID, is we want Bing to track the keywords. We want our tracking link to actually track, hey, where's this traffic coming from? One way you can manually test your link, just a side note, go to your browser here. And you can actually put in the keywords. We'll just do testing here. And we'll do like a random number for ad ID. Okay. So it still takes me to the site. Now what's really cool is when I come over here to Click Magic, and I just go here, click on that, there it is. So you can see it's showing me the keyword testing here because I manually generated that. So that's just some advice right there. All right, so let's go back to Bing. Everything's set up okay. Now from here we can do research keywords, which is all great. We can do that, find keywords containing a word or phrase, and we can enter some. So we will start out by just putting in surveys. We're going to go very broad. It's good to go broad at the beginning because initially what we're doing with our campaign is we're buying data, right? You have to spend money on traffic to find out what's converting. And we're going to just skim over this, and most of it does look pretty good. So we're going to just add everything, which is okay in the beginning. Because in the beginning, we're trying to just drive as much traffic to our site, and then we're going to look at our tracking and see what's converting, right? We want to get as much traffic coming in, because even though, you know, work from home, you may look at this and say, well, how's work from home going to convert? Work from home may actually be a top converting keyword for your campaign, you know, if it's applicable, which I believe it is. You'll have to see and let your tracking determine that, you know, by looking over at your stats to see which keywords are generating actions. So you'll notice another thing that it does, it's going to set all these bids. Don't worry too much. We're going to change that. You got a lot of different bids. It's rather than going manually through and changing all these bids, just go ahead and click Save. All right, and then you know, leave the defaults here, 30 cents, 30 cents. If you want to change your demographic, you can. Your ad scheduler, you can. How you want to run it. I usually leave this at the default. The only thing I go here is go to ad distribution. I do take off content network. Usually not very good traffic quality. And then just leave everything on the default here and go ahead and click on Save. So only thing we really took off was content network. Click Save. Then we're going to go to our survey example. And we're going to go to our keywords, which we have a lot right now. I'm going to go ahead and select all my keywords, which is just 104 right now. I'm going to go ahead and go to Edit, Change Current Bids, and we're going to lock in at 0.30 cents for this particular niche. All right, don't worry too much about match type not eligible. We'll go through and clean things up here in a bit. So no need to worry, everything's looking pretty good. Now what you can do before we raise the budget is we can go to Tools, we can go to Keyword Planner, and we can grab additional keywords for our campaign. So search for new keywords using phrase, website, or category. Sure, let's do that. Let's just do online surveys or surveys, whatever you want to type in. You don't need to paste in your landing page. Just click on Get Suggestions. And we're going to let Bing do some work for us. And it's creating all these groups. So we're just going to take everything. In the beginning, I like to take as much as you can. And what you can do is you can then, keyword suggestions. All right, you can then export these keywords. Show in folder. Okay, and I'm just going to open these keywords that I exported. Now you can also do this in Google Keyword Planner as well. That's what I was doing back before they even had Keyword Planner here in Bing, as I was using Google Keyword Planner, and you can get some pretty good data from Google Keyword Planner. Even though this is Bing Ads, the data that you bring over from Google is sometimes just as good as what you're using in Bing Ads. So we'll give that just a minute to open here. Okay, so that's just one thing to keep in mind. Once again, then we talked about Campaign Planner. Same thing here. If you wanted to go over here, very similar. Campaign Planner just gives you data in certain verticals, so you can click, survey and kind of see what's available. But we're going to do everything back here in Keyword Planner. Let's see if it has opened yet. Okay, and then you look over here, keyword suggestions. Once again, this is very powerful. It kind of tells you how much volume that you're getting per month, 49,000, your estimated bid, but you don't have to bid that high. If you do bid that high, you're going to get a good position. You're just going to be paying a lot per click, which is going to be really hard to make that profitable. That's the only problem when you start bidding $4, $5 a click. You'd have to have a really high paying out offer. When you're doing a pay-per-lead offer, you're just trying to generate as much traffic as you can for as little as possible. So let's go ahead and keyword here. We're just going to grab all these keywords. Okay, this is what Bing gave us. And what you can do while I'm here, I'm going to go back over to campaigns. Okay, so we'll kind of be moving a lot through Keyword Planner. Is we are going to create a new ad group. So I'm going to go to the survey example, and we have our original ad group, so we'll just name an original ad group, and we're going to use a new ad group. So create ad group. We're going to name this online surveys, and this is from Bing Keyword Planner. So I'm just going to name it BKP for Bing Keyword Planner. And basically going to just paste the keywords in there, click add. Very simple. Now you can, like I said, there's also research keywords in here, but sometimes using the Keyword Planner you get a little bit more data. We got a little bit more data, I think, from the Keyword Planner than just using the default research keywords. So same thing, only United States, ad title. All right. All right, so same thing. Let's see, test survey. You'll want to grab your tracking link just as before, and then you want to add the / and click magic. It's going to be different if you're using another type of tracking. Well, the tag is actually going to be the same, but the way your URL looks might be different depending on if you're using CPV Lab or Volume. But Bing uses this default bracket, keyword bracket, / ad ID. And ad ID is just so you can track your ad. So if you're split testing multiple ad copies, ad ID is going to reference which ad is actually performing for you. And then, of course, display URL, we'll just do www.mysurvey.com. And we'll go ahead and come down here and click Save. And we haven't raised our daily budget yet because you really don't want to raise your daily budget from $5 until everything's set up. Content network, make sure that's off. Everything else default, click Save. All right, so far so good. I'm going to go back over here. Now you can go into this new ad group we created. And so ad groups are kind of the way to break down your keywords into different groups. So think of it as a folder. And one way you can use ad groups is I want you to think of a big niche. Here we are actually. Let's take the work from home example. So if you have all these people searching work from home, you can start breaking ad groups down to part-time work from home, full-time work from home, home-based businesses. You can start creating separate ad groups with different keywords in each ad group and start scaling and optimizing your campaign that way. So that's the way to look at ad groups, is think of it as a folder. And you can filter out different keywords, especially when you have niches like auto insurance. Maybe you're going to make an ad group called auto insurance and pull all these relevant keywords related to auto insurance. And then you might do car insurance and pull all the keywords related from car insurance, put that into an ad group. So that's the best way to think of ad groups, is just organizing your data, breaking up your data. So change your current bids. We'll do 0. I'm going to bid a little bit higher just to start sending traffic faster. I would go 30 cents. But for this sample, I want to get my traffic rolling in so I can actually show you in the next video, hey, let's see what we have happening so far. So we'll go ahead and bid 50 cents. And you can go back to your ads, and this is where split testing comes into play. What's really cool is you can just click on the ad. Well, you can actually click on create ad, and if you notice when you do that, it actually duplicates your existing ad. So if you want to make some minor adjustments, let's go look over at Bing. Let's try this. We can split test different titles. Let's change it up a little bit. I like to make a few changes. So instead of saying $100 per survey, we'll say $95. Let's get some ideas over here. Okay, you can kind of see other examples. All right. Now, one of my favorite things to do in Bing, and this is very, very powerful, and I recommend that you do this too, at least on one of your ads, is I do like to use the keyword feature. So on the ad title, if you go to dynamic text and you click on keyword, what this does is when the user searches something, Bing will replace what the user searches here. So if the user searched in something like, let's just say they typed in something random like Friday surveys, well, then the ad title would say Friday surveys because it's whatever the user types in. So this is actually very, very powerful. It's dynamic text. This simply gets replaced with whatever the user typed in Bing. So if they typed in something weird, strange, for example, I was running a weight loss campaign, and when people were typing, lose 3 pounds in 3 days, my ad title would say lose 3 pounds in 3 days because it's exactly what the user searches, given that it fits on the ad line. So you can do something like keyword earn, sometimes it's not going to make sense. It's just depending on what your user searches, but you can do something like keyword earn $45 a survey. You could do like keyword 2016, 2015, whatever the year is. We're in 2016 now, so that way it's relevant. Like referring back to the weight loss example, you could do something like number 1, go to dynamic text, number 1 keyword sites. There's just so many variations you can do, but the keyword will replace, and you can come down here and replace that. Instead of surveys, let's say dynamic text. Let's put in the keyword. Oops, it just placed it at the end. So you just got to move it around to where you want it to go. Paid online keyword. All right. You could, it's just a really handy feature, this dynamic text. However you want to play with it. Just keep in mind, keyword is going to be replaced by whatever your user is searching. Benefits of that is a higher click-through rate because it's going to be a more relevant ad title. It's a great way to get traffic fast because when you use this keyword tag, oh man, the traffic is always going to go to this ad. So if you have these other ads running, the traffic is always usually going to go here because it's so relevant. So it's a great way to drive traffic really, really quickly. So I recommend doing that on at least one ad, especially when you're starting out. And keep in mind, ClickMagick is going to track all that data for us. So I hope that helps. I hope we have some traffic rolling in by the time I make the next video, so I can kind of show you how to optimize your campaign a little bit. And I hope this helps, setting up this campaign from start to scratch. We got our tracking set up, and then I'm going to show you how to look at your data, how to analyze it, how to scale, of course, in ClickMagick. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.